Hey guys, what is up? My name is Brienne and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing a book tag. The book tag that I will be doing today is considered the sick book tag, and I found it on a blog called A Book Nut, A Book Lover's Guide. I will link it in the description below in case you want to check it out, or any of the other ones that they have up as well. But the sick book tag is basically you name a book that goes along with the illness and its description based on your opinion. Okay guys, so the first question is Diabetes, which is basically a book that was just so sweet, sometimes even too sweet. So for this one I chose Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins because the whole novel, it's so sweet and romantic, and it takes place in the City of Lights in Paris. And not only does the plot focus on Anna's crush on Antony, but it also focuses on her discovering herself and understanding why she feels the way she does about her parents, about her family, about everything that's going on in her life. And I think it was just a really sweet and slightly pushed plot, in the sense of not many kids are sent to a private school in Paris, but I thought it was a sweet idea to help kids growing into themselves to understand how they're feeling and why they're feeling what they feel. The next one is Chickenpox, which is basically a book that you picked up once but will never ever pick up again. So I picked the book Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon because I understood the plot, I did, but the whole story just it wasn't for me, and that is why I will never pick it up again. And there's some things in here that the main character I didn't really agree with, and some of it's on a fundamental level, and there's parts where I really question her motivations for doing certain things, and I understood the mother going through it more than I did the daughter, and the mom's not in it very much, even though she plays an enormous role in it. The next one is The Flu. So basically this is one that just spread like a virus, like just through everyone. Okay, so I picked the Harry Potter series because when it came out, it spread like a wildfire, and with each book that came out, it spread even more, and it has brought so much joy to so many kids who have read it and so many different adults who have read it. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's spread, is because yeah, it's aimed for older kids and younger teenagers and just teenagers in general, but it also captivates many adults, and it shows us different perspectives of people and why certain people do the things they do. Even if it's extended into a fantasy sense, it also helps us understand different real life scenarios politically and emotionally, and different relationship structures. It's one of my favorite books that has spread as fast as it has. The following one is The Cycle. So this one is one that you try to pick up and reread yearly or as often as possible. Okay, so I chose Easy by Tamara Weber because I just recently finished my 7th reread of this book, and when I first picked it up, it was one of my favorite, and it still stays on my top 3 list of books that I've ever read, and I hope it stays there because it does a good job reaching to talk about things that a lot of authors either have trouble talking about or can't accurately talk about because they don't have a lot of personal experience with the content that's in here, and it does reach to very sensitive topics that aren't for everyone, and I get that, but this one, just every time I read it, I find something new and something that I didn't catch the first 6 or 7 times that I read it, and that's what makes me want to reread it over and over again. And the content is just always so relevant, and for me, it has a special place in my heart that I will never stop picking it up to reread it. And this one is actually a book that helps me get out of reading slumps as well. The next one is Insomnia. Now this one, you have to pick a book that has kept you up all night. So for this one, I chose The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, which I just finished reading, and it kept me up throughout the night because I'd go to put it down and I'd tell myself, okay, I will put it down after this chapter or at this next scene change. But every time there was either a plot twist or something happened and I just could not put it down. I actually stayed up a full 24 hours reading this while I read it for the first time. And I think this is a book that I might end up picking up again, but I would really like to finish the series, and I hope that the rest of the books have the exact same effect on me where I cannot put it down and I have to just read it and read it and read it, and it's so difficult for me to put down. Alright, the next one is Amnesia. So this is one that you fail to remember or has failed to make a lasting imprint on your memory. So this next book I don't actually have a physical copy of, but it is The City of Fallen Angels by Cassandra Clare. And I understand that it was the book that came out when she decided to extend the trilogy into a 6-book series, but to me it felt like a filler book, and I don't really remember exactly what happened in it, and I think it could have been combined with City of Lost Souls and the series just be 5 books, because it was smaller than the rest of the books and it didn't have a big impression on my memory, and I cannot remember for the life of me anything that happens in that book. The next book is Asthma. So this is one where the book itself has to have taken your breath away. For this one I chose Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare because wow, did this book take my breath away. I was already completely and absolutely in love with the first 2 books in this trilogy, and when I got this one, it is so big that I almost did not want to pick it up because I was scared of how much could happen in this book, and I was right. I was so right to be scared to pick it up. I actually listened to this one on audiobook after I picked it up and was having trouble just sitting down because it was so big and intimidating, but once I was listening to the audiobook, I would be in the middle of my day listening to it doing normal tasks, and I would just have to stop and process everything that just happened in the book because it took my breath away. The writing in this book was absolutely amazing, and I could not have asked for a better book from Cassandra Clare, and it made me so excited for her next series that comes out, The Last Hours, and I want so much more of all of these characters. I actually plan to go through and reread all of them again here soon over the summer. Alright, the next one is Malnutrition. So basically you have to name a book that lacks any sense of food for thought. Alright, for this one I was kind of upset with my choice because I chose Adultolescence by Gabby Hanna, and I love her. She is amazing. She is hilarious, and I understand the want for wanting to be published, but I think some of this poetry could have been further edited or taken out, and there's just so much in here that I didn't quite understand, and I think she aimed it for the wrong age group. It could have been for slightly older age groups or slightly younger, but I just could not finish it. I had picked it up the first time and I was loving it and I was zooming through it, and then I got to about the last 20 pages and could not bring myself to finish it. So I put it down and I set it aside, and I told myself I would pick it up in a month and try finishing the last 20 pages. And when I picked it up in a month, I didn't really remember anything that happened or any of the poetry really in it. So I decided to start rereading it, and I could not make it past the first 75 pages. I love the message that she tries to spread, but I could not find that in her poetry. I think her music does such an amazing job with it, but her book itself is not my favorite. And the last one is Travel Sickness. So this one's very basic. You just name a book that has gone with you on a travel or a trip. Alrighty, and this last book I actually do not have a copy of as well, and I don't know why I don't. I think I just got rid of it when I first went through my books about 2 years ago and got rid of so many books that I didn't want to get rid of, but I did. So this one is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. And the reason I picked this one is because it was the first Cassandra Clare book that I read. And yeah, I know it's the first one in publication order of these series, but it is really the first book that had me hooked on the rest of her books. Like, if I did not read this one, I do not think I would have read The Infernal Devices or The Dark Artifices or her Red Scrolls of Magic or any of her short stories. I think this book just pulled me into the Shadowhunter world, and I could not be more grateful for a book like this to be out. And I understand there's a lot of people who don't necessarily like the writing of the first series, which I get, because now that I'm getting older, from when I first read it, I can see that. But without this book, I would have never read any of her other ones, and I'm so happy that I did. And because of that, that book will always have a place in my heart, and I will reread it as many times as I can, no matter how much I grow and how much I see the change in her writing. I will always love this book because it brought me into the world of not just her books, but I had been in such a bad place with books before this that I wasn't reading, and this book just brought me back to all of it, and I am absolutely in love, and I can always count on a Cassandra Clare book to bring me out of a reading slump. And two other booktubers that I challenged to do this book tag are Gabby A Books and The Quill Time. Alrighty guys, that was it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know down in the comment section below if you guys agreed with any of these books or if you totally disagreed, and let me know why. I'm very interested to see what other people think.